Click to activate the arrow tool in the toolbox in the ArchiCAD instance of Joe Smith. Hover your cursor over one of the slabs you just reserved and wait for the info tag to appear. Notice that the top line of the info tag says Editable. This means that this element is currently reserved by Joe and can be freely modified by him. Hover your cursor over any of the walls and columns reserved by Mary Jones. These elements are displayed in Mary's workspace color. Wait for the info tag to appear. Notice that the top line of the info tag says Reserved by Mary Jones. Hover your cursor over any non-reserved element, such as a grid element, and check the info tag again. In this case, the top line of the info tag says Free for reservation. In short, the info tag is another way of checking the reservation status of any element, even when the colored workspaces are not activated. Let's see how the online and offline status affects the reservation of the elements. Click the right-pointing arrow at the upper right corner of the Teamwork palette of Joe Smith and select the Work Offline option. Joe Smith is now in offline mode, and his ArchiCAD instance is not connected to the GRAPHISOFT BIM server. Let's switch to the ArchiCAD instance of Mary Jones, who is still online. We will now release all elements reserved by her and check what happens in the offline workspace belonging to Joe Smith. Click the Release All button in the Workspace panel of her Teamwork palette. A warning dialog will be displayed, prompting you to send all modifications to the BIM server when releasing these elements. Select the Send and Release All option to proceed. All changes made by Mary are not sent to the BIM server until all her elements are released. In her ArchiCAD instance, the Color Workspace feature immediately shows that there are no elements reserved by her. Let's switch to the ArchiCAD instance of Joe Smith. Notice that his offline workspace shows that the walls and columns are still reserved by Mary Jones. Element reservation information in Teamwork can only be updated when the team member is online. For this, 3 conditions must be met. The BIM server must be running, your workstation must be connected to the server, and you must be in online status. Notice that because of the offline status of Joe Smith, all the buttons on the Teamwork palette are grayed. Let's take Joe Smith back online now. Click the right-pointing arrow at the upper right corner of the Teamwork palette and uncheck the Work Offline toggle. As soon as Joe Smith gets online, he will immediately see that the walls and columns are no longer reserved by Mary. Please open the Messages panel in Joe's Teamwork palette, since we will continue with instant messaging in the next step.